Salesforce has a new product called Marketing Cloud Growth and Marketing Cloud Advanced, which is a part of the next-gen product line that we're releasing. In my job as a solution engineer at Salesforce, I've got so many questions from our customers about what is Marketing Cloud Advanced? How is it different from Marketing Cloud Engagement or Marketing Cloud Account Engagement? Well, in this video, I just want to give you a high-level overview of what Marketing Cloud Advanced / Marketing Cloud Growth is and help you make a decision that's going to be best for you. Let's dive in.
All right, well, welcome to it. This is Salesforce Marketing Cloud Advanced or Marketing Cloud Growth. Really, they look the exact same. The difference between the two products is you just get some more features. So talk with your account executive about that, but this is kind of the home screen. This is where you're gonna come in and will be most likely your launch pad every day. This is just a demo org, so there's not a whole lot of information in here, but just know you'll be able to see under your marketing calendar, like what kind of emails, SMS messages, push notifications, things like that you have coming out in the near future. Next up, what we'll do is start to talk about campaigns. Now, one of the big differences between Salesforce Marketing Cloud's new product, Marketing Cloud Growth and Advanced, are the AI features. And I think this is also a differentiator out in the market, but basically what happens here is we have Agentforce. Agentforce is like our little agent that lives inside Salesforce that helps us do all kinds of cool things. So one thing to know, for those of you who aren't aware, if you want to change the agent, you got to come up here, click this little drop down and choose which agent you want to work with. So we have a bunch of out of the box agents. I'll go over that in another video, but right now we're going to be working with the campaign creation agent. And this one is just going to help us build what we call a journey to take our customer from point A to point Z on whatever our goal is. So for example, maybe you want to do some nurturing, or you want to do some re-engagement, or you want to do some cross-sell, upsell. The agent can help you build out that campaign. So today we're going to be working on one that is for campaign re-engagement. We just really want to target our customers who haven't made a purchase in the last 90 days. So here I will hit submit and let the agent go to work. Let me move my little picture out of the way so you can actually see. And now what the agent is doing is starting to build out a campaign brief. We can have a conversation with it, go back and forth, but I'm just going to assume that all of this looks good and we'll continue to let the agent do what it does best. And so now it has generated that campaign. Now if I want to take a preview and look at the campaign, I can click this little button that says generate campaign preview. And this might be a little bit foreign to you all, but really what the agent is doing is just thinking about some of our journeys that we've run in the past, learning what has worked in the past, leaning into the things that have worked and leaning away from the things that haven't. It's also looking at industry benchmarks and doing all kinds of things. And basically what it does is it creates this very simple, very easy to look at little sample. You can go through, make changes if you want to on the wait times, on what kind of messages are sent out, things like that. But again, we're just going to continue on and I'll hit click save campaign. And now all that the agent is doing is just saving the content and it's creating the actual campaign. So again, this is a brief. This is very important so you can go and lay out your goals, your vision for the campaign, and what you're trying to accomplish. The agent will work with you, build the brief, and then build the actual campaign. So now I'm going to come over here and click into the exclusive re-engagement offers campaign, and it's going to pull up our actual campaign, not just the brief, but the actual campaign. And what you'll notice once I minimize this agent window is that it took into account all of the things that I told it. It said, hey, I'm trying to re-engage my people. And over here, basically what it has done is said, okay, well, you tell me the schedule, how often you want this to run, the segment that you want to work with, and the agent laid out kind of the cadence for the messaging. And so right here, we can see that it is sending an email message, waiting 3 days, sending another one, waiting 5 days, sending another one. And again, this is based on all kinds of information on my specific org, but this is the gist of how the agent works. Now, whenever you come in and you actually start to mess around with this campaign, there's a bunch of cool things that you can do. Like I said, you can schedule it, you can select a segment, which is actually what we'll talk about next. So I'll come in here and I'll click select segment. And you have a couple of options. You can use quick filters, which is really great just for getting something created really quickly. Or I can go to segment builder, which is a little bit more detailed process, but you can really start to hyper personalize the people that are going to be receiving these messages. Now we have a visual builder. We have Einstein segment creation, which is using natural language to basically create that segment for you. Hey, target everyone that lives in the state of Washington. Their name is Howie and they are the chief executive officer at their company. Or you can install from a data kit, a little bit more technical. And then you can decide what kind of segment you want. There's a standard segment, waterfall, there's real-time and dynamic. All of these have different use cases, so maybe just read through. I won't bore you with the details, but just read through what these do and find out if it has a use case that fits you. But I'll go ahead and say create with Einstein segment creation. and I will say I want to segment on my individuals, for example. So these are my people. And now what the agent is doing is basically pulling in our data model, all the information that we know about all of our customers, all of our accounts, whatever it is that you're working with, and it is pulling up a nice user interface that has some information in it. So already it's taken information and said, hey, on your campaign, you were looking for inactive customers. Here's some attributes that might work with that. Their last activity date is before December 30th, 2025. And I'll come in here and I'll say, I like this, but I want to add some more criteria. I want to make sure that they are people who live in Washington and their name is Howie. So again, you can talk to this agent. If you understand your data and like what information about your customers you have to work with, then working with the agent can be really helpful, because you can just come in, you can type in just like you're emailing a friend or a coworker that says, hey, I need a segment of people that match this criteria, and it will create that for you. And if you look at this and you're like, yep, looks good, you can create segment, or I'll show you another UI, which lets you come in here and I can click edit segment rules. And now this is going to take me to the visual builder. Now, some people actually prefer the visual builder. I really like it because it's pretty simple and easy to use. Sometimes the natural language doesn't quite pick up on what you're trying to say exactly. So with the point and click builder, I can come in here and do a little bit more fine tuning. And then now we can kind of take a look at what this point and click UI looks like. So all of these over here on the left where my mouse is, these are basically different data points you have about your people from all kinds of different data sources. So right now in this website or in this Salesforce org, I only have like Sales Cloud connected and Service Cloud. But if you are using Commerce Cloud or Shopify, or you have ads or whatever it is, you can pull that information in here and build segments. So one of the big value adds of our segment builder is that you can pull in data from all kinds of different sources, and you can build segments that are based on information that you have on Instagram from your customers, and based on information from them from your CRM, from your website, from your e-commerce store, whatever it is. You can bring them all together and build hyper-targeted segments for really whatever use case that you have. So if I come in here and I don't have any account information, I want to come in and just make sure that the account name, for this person, their primary account is equal to EW Design, because that's where Howie works. So again, if I want to add more criteria, it's very simple, very straightforward. I can just drag it onto the screen, add it in, do whatever I want. Nothing too crazy there. Now, if I want to pull more levers and have more flexibility with, who comes onto this segment, I can click these little boxes over here. They're a little hidden, but if I click these boxes, I can change the segment to say, hey, if their full name is Howie, or they live in the state of Washington, and their account name is equal to EW Design, then I want them on this segment. So really, we're just trying to give you the levers to pull so that you can build a segment that's going to really work for you and your team. And then same with exclusions. You can build exclusion rules and make sure that anyone that matches certain criteria will not show up on that segment. So that's kind of what segmentation looks like in Marketing Cloud Advanced or Growth. All right, and then now to head back to our actual campaign, what it's doing is basically referencing the segment that we chose and just importing all of those people in from our segment. And now we are working with the Washington residents named Howie segment. Now the next question you might be asking is, what does it look like to build content in Marketing Cloud? So as you can see on this path, this is just like a step-by-step path. The next step is going to be to send an email message. So I want to show you what our content builder looks like real quick. Basically, this is it. So the test company that I work with is just called Bolt Ride. It's like a fictitious electric bike company. But essentially, what we can do inside of our email builder is, it's a pretty standard drag and drop, hey, if I want to add a button there, I can do that. If I want to change the text to say, hi, whatever I want to do, I have a lot of flexibility. You can change the color, the CSS, all this stuff. Nothing too fancy, things that many of us have already seen. If I have existing HTML, I can drag onto the screen, the HTML block, paste my HTML in here, and boom, my HTML is going to be visible there. So pretty standard, nothing too wild there. But where I think the value comes in Salesforce, that kind of differentiates us from the rest is, since you have all of the CRM data already living inside Salesforce, and you might have other data sources that you plug into the system as well, you can really start to build hyper-personalized messaging for each customer in hopes that everyone kind of feels like they're the only one getting a message from you, like you are their only customer essentially. And so what that looks like is, number one, dynamic content. So whenever I drop any block onto the screen, whether it's copy, a button, a link, whatever it is, I can set up what are called variations to say, hey, depending on information that we know about our customer, show a different version to them. So for example, for this electric bike company, say someone has notified us that their favorite color is blue. We are going to show them this version of the email. But say they told us that they are going to come in with their spouse and they both want to do a test ride. We can send them an email that looks like this. So again, this is just giving you the flexibility to show the right content to the right people, because that's really our goal with our marketing tools, to show the right content to the right people at the right time. Next up is personalization, which a lot of programs this year or lately, you have to write code, you got to write SQL queries, you got to pull in all this information, do all this cross-table joining just to put someone's first name on an email. And basically in Salesforce, since we have, again, all of our data, if I want to add in a personalization string, I can come in here and this is just a standard copy or text body. I can come in here, click this little curly bracket, and then I can go to whatever I want. So I'll work with the recipient, for example. And if I want to drop in, their last name, for example, I can just click last name. And now if your name is Howie White, your message is going to say, welcome to Volt Ride Howie White. If your name is LeBron James, it will say, welcome to Volt Ride LeBron James. Again, just personalizing that message. Now, a lot of companies will use this for appointment scheduling to send out hey, you scheduled a test ride. Here's the date and time of your test ride. They'll use that string that we talked about here to make sure that everyone's information comes across as their accurate, test ride time or whatever that looks like for you and your company. It could be product information, a lot of options here with dynamic content and with the personalization strings. And as we all know, it's 2026 and AI is at the top of mind for a lot of people. We've been talking about AI a whole lot in this conversation. And so I just want to kind of show you what that looks like in Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So basically I can highlight the copy, I can click these little stars, and essentially what the agent will do is, take a prompt, improve the copy, I can add emojis, I can do all kinds of things. And so now what the agent is doing is referencing the copy that I inputted, and it's saying, hey, do you want me to create basically a better version of this? Now you can define brand standards. You can give it examples of what kind of copy that you want it to use, and it will spit out more copy for you. And I can say, awesome, but can you add emojis, for example? So again, we can have a conversation with the agent, go back and forth with it, and we can say, hey, I want you to make this change to that copy. And it will do that for you and reflect your changes. It will also reflect the brand voice that you set up when you come in and set up Marketing Cloud. So I'll go ahead and hit apply. And as you can see, it didn't overdo it on the emojis. There's just a nice, good, classic biker emoji down there at the bottom. So it doesn't feel cheap or tacky or anything like that. But yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We try to make things easy to use, but also elegant and user-friendly. And so all these things that we talked about, whether it is a variation, we can create variations on any block. If I want to improve my subject line, I can plop in, I can use the AI to improve the subject line. I can insert personalization strings. Again, we're just trying to make sure that your customers feel like you are paying attention to them and actually enjoy having their business. So next up, what we'll talk about is very similar, just our content builder when it comes to building forms. And so on here, it's again, simple, straightforward, basically the exact same layout as building an email. So this is our email builder. This is our form builder, landing page, whatever you want to call it. Down here, you can add in input fields. And if I want to add in a date, for example, this form that we're working with here is schedule a test ride. And so someone can put in their first name, last name, company name, all this information. And the really great thing is that we can create this in Salesforce, post it on our website, put it on an ad, put it really wherever we want. And then when someone fills out this information, that data will come back into Salesforce. So another use case of this might be progressive profiling to learn more about your customers. So a lot of options in here as well, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of what the form builder looks like. And yeah, you can create records, you can update records, you can do all kinds of different things over in the CRM. So really the two systems are in tandem and really working with each other. Now kind of going back to our campaign over here, if you want to, you can add in an SMS message. There's lots of things that you can do. And this is kind of the simple view of the campaign. If I want to add in an SMS message, I can click the plus button there. WhatsApp is a really popular channel these days, so you can do that as well. If you use Marketing Cloud Engagement, you can pass part of this campaign over into Journey Builder over in Marketing Cloud Engagement. But also, if you are familiar with Salesforce Flow, you can create you can open up the flow and really start to do some pretty cool things on the back end. Now, I don't want to scare anyone, The part that we showed just a second ago is like the simple builder, pretty linear, not a whole lot of variations going on in the paths of the journey that a customer could be on. So this might just be a newsletter. Hey, everyone's going to go down the same path. But if you want to add in some complexities, or you want to add in some of your own quote unquote secret sauce, you can do that inside Flow Builder. And so here what we're saying is, okay, here's our entry criteria. We're going to target these people and we're going to send it out, every day at noon, whatever that looks like for you and your team. We define an email message. We want to wait 3 days, but maybe we want to check and see, did that customer open that email? So I can come in here and add a decision split that said, open email, email question mark, for example. And then I can say yes is the outcome name. And then I can come down here, go through my resources and find that email and just say, yep, they in fact opened that message. Cool. And so now we can market to our people in different ways. So if you did open that email, then I want to put you down this path. And if you did not open up that email, then I want to put you down a different path. So for example, maybe if you didn't open up that email, then I want to send you an SMS message, maybe target you in a different channel. Or maybe I have not heard back from a customer in a while. So I want to create a record that says, create lead or create task. And what we're doing right here is we're basically creating a task that is going to be assigned to the sales rep that says, hey, Zach White, he filled out our form that says book a test ride. He seems interested, but we haven't heard from him in a while. So I'll come in here and just say, call customer. They are slipping out of the sales funnel, for example. And so basically what we're looking at here is, hey, we've got our leads. Someone filled out the form. They landed on this segment. They're coming through this journey. We're trying to get them in for a test ride. We want to make sure that we don't lose these people in our funnel. And so, you've got your marketing qualified leads and you've got your sales qualified leads. So over here on this path, we're saying, yep, they did the thing that we wanted them to. Let's just continue them through the path, maybe create an opportunity record, do whatever we want. But for the people who we have not heard back from, or they have not taken the action we want them to, we can target them in a different way. And I'm sure many of you are already familiar with this tool that I'll talk about next, but we have a tool called Einstein Send Time Optimization, which basically makes it to where anybody that you send an email or a text message to or whatever, we are capturing open times and click times and things like that on the back end. And Einstein is learning from these actions from each and every individual customer and saying, hey, Howie tends to open up his emails at 8:30 a.m. and Zach tends to open up his emails at 5:30 p.m. These are two different people that live two different lifestyles. We want to recognize that. And we also want to be at the top of their inbox. So using Einstein STO, or Send Time Optimization, you're able to basically hold that message until the optimal time and then send it out. That way you can be at the top of the inbox for each and every one of your customers. Now you want to use that strategically and not overdo it, but Einstein STO can be a really powerful tool to drive engagement and really get in front of your customers' eyes. And then last thing that I'll show you, because this video has gone a little bit longer than I wanted it to, is really just the reporting. So since you are using Sales Cloud, or even if you're not using Sales Cloud quite yet, but when you come in here, you will start using it, whatever that looks like for you and your team, all of the opportunity information that you have, all of your closed deals, all the money that you've made on the sales side can be tied and attributed to marketing campaigns. So out of the box, you'll get a dashboard like this one for insights and deliverability. And basically what this is going to show you is like, based on engagement, based on revenue generated, whatever your metrics are, what marketing campaigns are driving the most revenue, the most content engagement, the most email click engagement, all that stuff. And so you can come in here and you can see trends by date, by channel, by engagement type. There's a channel activity dashboard down here. You can see your successful sends and how things are performing out in the field. So all of the metrics that you and your marketers know or need to know in order to identify what's working and lean into those things that drive revenue and lean away from the things that are really just wasting time. Because as marketers, we got to move fast. We got to stay on top of things. And then of course, for our deliverability side of the house, we've got reports and dashboards right here that are going to show you your email sends rate, open rate, deliverability, how often you're not making it to the inbox, how often people are opting out of your messages, campaign performance, again, all kinds of helpful statistics that are going to help you be a successful and really just adequate marketer, or not just an adequate marketer, but a great marketer. So yeah, there's so much more that we could talk about. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or reach out to your account executive, and we'd be more than glad to answer more questions for you or get you a more kind of in-depth demo. This is just like a quick 20-minute high-level overview of what the tool can and can't do. But again, thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.